Okay, y'all, it is weird movie review time. And I want to talk about a movie that's weird but also pretty fascinating. Uh, maybe you've heard of it. You probably haven't heard of it. Um, it hasn't gotten that much attention, um, and I barely knew about it myself. I, um, but I recently watched a movie called Wild in the Streets. Now, this movie came out, I think, maybe 1967 or 68 or so. Um, and it's about this charismatic, arrogant rock star who starts a youth movement, and not just in the typical way. He gets involved in politics. He he says, like all you young people out there, there's more of you, because this was during the baby boom era. There's more of you than there are the old people, and we want the vote. So he starts pushing for the voting age to be lowered to 14. At the time, this was before the voting age was even 18. I think. I think. I'm pretty sure. By the way they're talking about it in the movie, there's some other politician who wants to appeal to the youth, and he talks about lowering the voting age to 18. But this this arrogant rock star goes further and says, "No, we need to go down to 14." And the thing about this movie is it's so even though it's so cheesily done and so over the top, and like just so ridiculous in in the way that it presents the story. It's like um it I you know it's really, actually, it's really annoying it how it's distracting, um just how broad, like, the characterizations are. Like, this especially the most egregious is the rock star's mother, who's played by Shelley Winters, who's just like, just so overbearing, and it's like, I don't know why. Maybe it was sort of the style at the time. You wanted to be shocking, and you wanted to, like, there's stuff with quick cuts, and there's all this stuff that I kind of I tend to find annoying about movies made in this period, where they just throw in psychedelic stuff, uh, for no, like, that just makes you think of Austin Powers today. It just looks cheesy, um, and I think it was cheesy even back then, even though I wasn't alive back then. But I would have thought it was cheesy even when that was even when that wasn't dated. So so it almost obscures the really interesting things about the movie. And the really interesting thing about the movie is that it's in some way a subtle critique of the youth, the pro youth stuff that was so cool and trendy at the time. The don't never trust anyone over 30. I think Abby Hoffman said. I believe he was the one who said that, and that was a common sentiment amongst the baby boomers when they were young. Um, it's kind of funny to think about uh, about that now. Given that baby boomers are now well over the age of 30. But anyway, the most interesting aspect of the story is just how this rock star becomes a fascist dictator. And when I say fascist, I mean I'm not just saying that I'm not saying that in the pejorative sense. It's like there is, it's a populist, movement. It has various aspects of what we generally what was generally called fascism, before that became just a pejorative term for tyranny in general, or for anybody who's more conservative than you like. And so we see what happens when the youth is catered to, and when this ne'er do well rock star and his cronies are catered to. Um, it goes in some very chaotic directions, and there's an actual attack on the Capitol. There's people, there's people running up the steps to the Capitol. Um, you know, uh, it might give liberals some it might give liberals conniptions. They might have traumatic flashbacks when they see those scenes. Uh, and we see the entire political establishment you know is throttled, is basically taken out, and this guy now rules. This rock star now rules. He's the the dictator of the United States. But the thing is, he's kind of getting up there in years. He's 25. Um, and the way that the movie ends, you sort of see this suggestion that the revolution is going to continue to go younger and younger, because we see these like 10-year-olds saying, "Nah, we should be the ones to be in charge." Um, and all that is it's again it's I'm emphasizing the things about the movie that are interesting and that make it worth watching. But I also can't emphasize enough just how annoyingly it's filmed in so many ways. Um, how over the top it is, how lacking in subtlety it is. That in insofar as the acting goes, and much of the it's just and much of the direction, and much of just everything about it. Um, there's some pretty good songs, some pretty good original songs that come out of this movie. Uh, the the band, or the singer, I can't remember his name right now, because it was a few days ago that I saw this movie. But he has a song called "14 or Fight." That's like their rallying cry. That we need the voting age needs to be lowered to 14, and if it's not lowered to 14, then it should be that the youth should fight. Uh, it's a call to arms, and there's a few other songs that are pretty damn catchy, and I think totally original. I don't think any of them became actual hits, but in that sense, weirdly enough, it kind of reminds me of Bob Roberts, which is a movie that was made, if in case you didn't know, it was from the early '90s, about a conservative folk singer, or I shouldn't say just conservative, a far right wing folk singer, who hates, who plays hippie kind of music, who strums a guitar, but hates hates hippie values and believes in the very opposite of those kinds of things. And that song also, that movie also had some bangers to it. I don't think any of them uh, ever became songs that you heard on the radio. Uh, oh, this movie also features Richard Pryor. He's one of the members of the band. Um, and it was surprising to see him because I didn't think he was in. I knew he was a comedian, during the '60s, and but I didn't think he was in movies until like the '70s, like Silver Streak and what was it, Superman 3? That's the '80s, and Stir Crazy. I sort of thought Richard Pryor's film career didn't start till later, but a rather young Richard Pryor shows up in this movie too. So if you want to see an interesting movie, a movie with an interesting premise, and you can tolerate a lot of obnoxiousness, uh, and just handle, like, see it uh, as in a way camp, because it is very campy, but at the same time it's has a very startlingly original premise. Then I'd recommend checking out Wild in the Streets. I think you can see it for free on several streaming services. So that's my review and analysis of Wild in the Streets. Thanks for watching.